Hey everyone, it's JP and I have a really cute earring design for you today, and here they are. Anyway, I'm using Paisley duos in this design, so here's the back. So you can really see the Paisleys from the back. Very cute bead, I really like them. I typically use traditional beads, but I really wanted to try and play with these. I love these beads, they're just fun. You can also use Zoliduos. Zoliduos are the same size as Paisley duos. They're both 8 by 5 millimeter bead. The only difference between the Zoliduos and the Paisleys is that the Zoliduos have a rounded side versus the Paisleys are flat on both sides. So if you look, they're both flat. But you can use either one of those two bead types. In addition, so you're going to need 12 of these to make a pair, 6 per earring. You're going to need a 2 millimeter bead. So I'm using these 2 millimeter fire polish. You can use rounds or bicones too. It doesn't have to be fire polish. And you can use 8/0. So if you don't have any 2 millimeter bead, which some people may not have that in their stash, you can use 8s. And they will work too. They'll fit between the beads just perfectly. So you will need a total of 16 of these, so 8 per earring. And then last, you're going to need some seed beads. So I have 2 different colors that I'm using. So I've got this galvanized rose gold. These are my Yukis. That's what I'm using there. And this color I don't know because it came from a random mix that I got from my local bead store. So sorry, I don't know the color to that. But you don't need 2 different colors. I used it as a little bit of an accent towards the back, which just gave it a little bit better pop of color there on these little points. But entirely up to you. You don't need it. One color is just fine. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so to get started, what you're going to do is pick up 6 of the Paisley beads. These are Paisley duos. And you're just going to have them on your thread all going in the same direction. So you can see it's all going to the right. And then we are going to tie a knot. So just a basic overhead square knot. And you want to make this as tight as possible. So they tend to wiggle around. You don't want to have any space between them. So make sure you lay it flat so they're not turned or anything. And then tie that knot. So this is still a little bit looser than I would like. You can tell how much space there is between the threads. So I'm going to give it a little bit more of a yank. And then what you're going to do, and if you still find it to be too loose, then all you're going to do is we're going to go through all the beads again to reinforce this and tighten it up. So not to worry if it is a bit loose when you tie your knot. These beads tend to shift around quite a bit. And this helps to pull your knot inside one of these beads. So I'm just going to go through and reinforce. You may have to go through them one at a time just because of the shape of the bead. You may not be able to get through 2 of them just because it ends up at an odd angle, as you can see here. But I do like to play with these. These are kind of fun to play with. They're a little unusual. I tend to do a lot of work with super duos, so it's nice to try something different. And okay, so a little bit looser than I would still like, but don't worry, this is still fixable. So I'm going to do a little half-hitch knot to secure my thread even more, and then just go through a few of these beads. And let's see, hopefully these knots are now away. And I'm going to take my thread zapper and trim the tail. right, so now one thing to pay attention to as you're working is you want to make your earrings either, you can either have them going in opposite directions, so I have these that are going counterclockwise and these going clockwise, or you can just make sure you've got them both going the same way. It's kind of up to you how you do that. So I'm actually going to have them going in the opposite direction. So these are going to end up in this direction versus these guys were in the opposite direction. So once you've gotten, once you've made your circle, go ahead and switch into the other hole of your Paisleys, and you're going to add 3 11-0s between each of them. So I'm going to use my green here in this case, and all you're doing is just getting them to pop into place, and that's it. So just like that, and they should form a little point. One more time. Last one. So I've got my 3, and I've gone all the way around. And this is what it should look like. Now what you're going to do is add in the 2mm. So I'm going to take my 2mm, and I'm still just going to go from Paisley to Paisley. So just go in to the next Paisley. So the 2mm is going to sit on top of the seed beads, just like that. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. There we go. 11-0 there was blocking. Okay, 2 more times. So this is 1 and one more time. All right, so there you are. And this should start to feel a lot more solid, so now, you know, it's not going to feel quite as loose, but it'll tighten up even more. So once this piece is done, it's actually a very firm piece. All right, so the next step is to put 7 seed beads between each of the fire polish. So I'm just going to count out 7. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm just going to go into the next fire polish here. Just like that. And then you're just going to repeat this all the way around. So you want a total of 7. And, oops, I think I got 8 there. So, yep, there's my 7. And I'm just going into the next fire polish. Okay, so here we go. There's my 7, and into the next fire polish. Okay, that's 4, 5, 6, and 7. Two more times, almost done. And one more. double check. Yep, that's 7. And I'm coming out of my, or going through my fire polish here. Apparently I'm having a hand-eye coordination issues. Okay, so here's what you should have at this point. And now what you're going to do is go up into, and I'm actually going to turn this just because it's easier for me to work as a lefty from the back. So I'm going to go into the first 4 of my seed beads in this loop here. And now what I'm going to do is pick up 2 11s, my fire polish, and then 4 11s, and bring those down just like so. Skip over these 4 11s and go straight into the fire polish. And then pick up 2 more 11s and go back through that 11 that's in the middle of the loop. So you should get this just like that, which is right here at this part here. Now what you're going to do is continue up and the 2 seed beads and the fire polish. And then go up 1 more 11. Pick up an 11 and go into the next 11. Then once again pick up an 11, go into the next 11, and one last time pick up an 11, and you're going to go into the last 11 over here. And that should give you this nice cute little diamond pattern. Go back into the fire polish. And then just going to reinforce this. So going through all of these. Then up into the fire polish. And going into the seed beads. So all I'm doing is reinforcing, I'm not adding any beads. And slowly making my way back through. So I'm just going into this last 11 here. And I'm going to come down. There we go. So this might be a little bit tight now that I've reinforced it and gone through it a few times. And one thing we're going to do is I'm going to skip this next bead, and just to show you a little trick, because one of the things I did was I actually kind of got it to look like a little triangle shape there. So the trick there is we're going to go into this next 11. Skip that one and then go into the middle one here. So you're going to have to pull that to pop it out. And then you're going to skip over the next one, and you're going to go into the 11 that's closest to the fire polish. And again, make sure so one of the things you want to do is the thread has to be very tight. Give it a good tug. So give it all a good tug and they will line up. So this is what you need. And now I'm coming out of that 11, so I'm just going to go directly across into the seed bead that's next to it. So I'm not actually going to go up into the fire polish. And now all you want to do is make your way down. So once again, I'm going to actually skip over this bead here and just go into my 11. And again, the other 11's now there blocking it. So it's not tight, just gotten. And then down into the loop. Just like this. Okay, so now it's back to the front. So that's our center point. So what you want to do now is go into the middle bead in this next loop here. So I am going to go into bead number 4 basically in this loop. There's number 4, and I'm going to kind of push it towards the center. I'm going to take this one here, also push it towards the center. So basically it's every other one. So in this case it'll be the 2 on this either side of this and the 1 on the bottom. And they have to come together. So now all you do is connect them together. So I'm going to take an 11 and I'm going to make sure you're grabbing the middle bead in this next loop. And don't worry if the loops don't come down, they will. And just give it a good pull. And then repeat, pick up another 11, and you're going to grab the middle bead here. Okay, there we go. Come on, needle. Why am I having so much trouble today? There we go. And last time. And there is almost done. One last step basically. So I'm going to go ahead and reinforce all of these first. And now that I started here on this loop here, so I'm just going to go through that one. And the next 11. And then I want to come out of this 11 here that's on the bottom loop. So it's actually my golden 11. And then I'm going to pick up my fire polish. And I'm going to go to the 11 that's directly across, which is actually green. And I'm going to go into it from right to left, because I'm going from left to right here, so the thread. So I'm going to go down like that, and then back through the fire polish, and then back through that 11 from left to right again. So basically making a complete loop. And this should be very secure, so you can go back through and reinforce it one more time. And through the 11, back through the fire polish, and back through the 11. So now all you have to do is tie off. And I'm going to go ahead and go down into the loop. Half-inch knot there between the fire polish and the 11s, and then just weaving away the threads. You can do this a couple more times, and make sure you don't miss any of the seed beads. So one of the things that's going to happen there, so I want to make sure I'm in all of them. And I'm going to tie one more here between the other fire polish and the 11s. And then just take it through the fire polish. Okay, now I can trim the thread. And these are done. So you can see I have them going in opposite directions. I think it's more just kind of fun that way. I'm going to add my ear wire loop here. And there they are. So my loop just goes through, or the ear wire just goes in through there. So didn't have to add anything, just falls right in because of the type that I'm using. You could always put in a jump ring if you need. But these are my Paisley pyramids. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.